Hello, welcome back to Recently Interesting. It's been a while.
It has been.
It's been a long while. But today, I wanted to talk about something that isn't incredibly recent, but recent enough that I think it's kind of wild still.
Okay.
Which is the whole Trump assassination attempt thing.
Okay.
So, we were kind of, I guess, out of the loop.
We were out of the States when it happened.
Yeah. But I thought it was wild that someone came to us and was like, so, did you hear about Trump? And I'm just like, dude, you're not even American. Why are you telling me this? But, yeah, so, I mean, it was quite a global phenomenon, you know?
Well, we were hearing about it on the radio. I feel like everywhere. Yeah. I mean, I think it's globally relevant.
Yeah.
Like if someone tried to assassinate King Charles, I'm sure that would be on the radio here in the U.S.
It's true. But I mean, Trump's not royalty. Like, he's a former president, currently running for president, but it's not like he's like, you know, in any sort of monarchy.
No, but I guess I'm not sure who the prime minister is right now. But if someone assassinated the prime minister or tried to, I would expect that would be international news.
Yeah. But anyway, so we had the chance, though, to listen to the whole congressional hearing of the Secret Service.
Yes. The leader of the Secret Service.
Yeah.
Director.
The director of the Secret Service.
I don't remember her name, but good grief. It was very interesting to listen to.
So what did you find interesting about it?
Well, I guess really more so than anything else. Okay, I don't want to say it was entertaining. It was a little bit entertaining just because when you think about people in politics, like senators and stuff like that, you kind of don't really know what they do all day or how they talk or what they talk about. And it was interesting just listening to them absolutely grill somebody and ask the same questions that you have. So that was interesting. I also the incompetence that was displayed by the director of the Secret Service was flabbergasting, and I think that it's rightfully so that she
stepped down.
Gave up her job, yeah, because I think that she showed, as if you didn't already just have a massive screw up, now you're making yourself additionally incompetent by not being able to come to the table with answers when you know that questions are going to be asked of you. And she kept saying that she, it's an ongoing investigation, but she'd had, I think it was 12 days or something before they met with her, or 9 to 12 days. And it was certainly enough time to have more answers than what she did have, especially given the gravity of the situation and the fact that this is all eyes on you right now. I would imagine if I was in her position, I know that this hearing's coming up. I'm not eating, I'm not sleeping, I'm just prepping myself for this hearing. That's how I'm spending all my time. And it didn't seem like she didn't know the answers, to be honest. It seemed like she was unwilling to say the answers.
Yeah. I feel like it's just wild, because, like, you think, like, in someone's day-to-day life, whether they have a meeting at work, maybe they even have, like, a project due at school, seemingly, those people seem to put more preparation into like a school, maybe talk or presentation that they need to give, more so than it seemed that she gave into her prepping for this what one of the congressmen said was a friggin' smackdown.
I can understand where she's like, I don't want to give a specific answer because I'm not exactly sure, and I don't want to say anything that's incorrect, so I would rather say nothing than say something that might not be 100% correct. But there was times where they were even asking her to give her opinion, and she wouldn't even give her opinion. And so if it's 9 days, 12 days post incident, and you don't even have an idea of where, I feel like something they kept trying to get her to say was to pinpoint exactly where someone messed up in order to allow this to happen. And she wouldn't do that. And they weren't asking her for specific names of people or personal information.
Sometimes they were.
They were asking her...
Sometimes they were like, what's a name of, like, who, like, what's their name? And she's like, I'm not going to tell their name.
Yeah, but they didn't ask her that question in context of trying to put the blame on somebody. But if you're the director of the Secret Service and a former president and presidential candidate gets shot, he did get shot. That happens under your supposed security. If you can't point to who messed up, then it's you.
Yeah, one thing
you're in charge of this group. The group obviously has a massive flaw. If you can't identify the flaw, then you're not qualified to be leading the group.
That's the thing, though. So one of the congressmen or women pointed this out that I thought was like very true, because I don't remember who it was, but they said every time we have one of these congressional hearings, we bring people in, we question them, and it always seems to go down the same path of, well, did you approve this? No? Well, who did? And it's like, why are you here if you had no input whatsoever on the planning or execution of what happened? And it's true, because like she's the person at the top, but it's like, I mean, you got it's kind of like, okay, there's like the CEO of Starbucks, right? But there's Starbucks everywhere. Like, they're everywhere. Mm-hmm. And if one employee at a store in a random location starts acting up, they're not going to, like, call in the CEO and be like, well, did you approve of, like, this, like, action that these employees decided to take? Or they set a new policy for their store or something? And it's just like, well, no. And it's like, but you're the CEO, like, you're in charge, you know?
I disagree.
Why do you disagree? But do you know what I'm saying? Where it's
I know what you're saying.
It's like a chain of command sort of thing.
I know what you're saying, that she was far removed from the specific incident, even though she has leadership over that people. She has so much leadership that she's too far removed from the people that were actually there that day to be held accountable.
Yeah.
And yet, she put those people in charge.
I mean, maybe.
Maybe
not.
No, I'm not saying that she specifically put every single individual in their position, but whoever was the leader of that team would have been appointed or approved by her, And regardless of what it is,
it's a trickle effect.
She's the one who's the director, and they gave her, before they brought her in for the hearing, they did give her enough time to meet with every single person who was a part of that team and have them report to her, okay, what happened? And so you think about this, if you were the CEO of Starbucks, you have all these different, it's a franchise, so there's like different buildings everywhere. You've got different managers in each store. Those managers are hiring the employees. That doesn't come across your desk, even who gets employed at each specific branch, right?
Right.
But let's say that something massive goes horribly wrong at a branch. An employee does something that is insane.
Well, okay, better example.
And then you're going to get help, and then you are going to have to come and answer that. You're going to be meeting with the manager of that branch, the other employees who were working that day, maybe the other employees who weren't working that day, to speak to the culture of that branch. You're going to be figuring out what happened. If you know, especially, if you know that you're going to have to go in front of Congress.
But it's sort of, I feel
you
like...
should have answers if you're the director.
Yeah, I gave Starbucks sort of off the cuff, but I feel like it would be more like an airline, right? Recently, there's been some like airline flight problems, right? So imagine you're like the leader of American Airlines. You're at the top. You're the top person there,
Mm-hmm.
and then a plane goes down.
Mm-hmm.
One of your planes, but American Airlines has hundreds, if not thousands, of planes flying every which direction on any given day. But it's like, and then so they take the top guy or girl at American Airlines, and they're like, hey, you need to answer for your plane going down. And it's just like, well, I don't fly the planes. I don't maintain the planes. I'm not a mechanic. Like, and so like, what's the solution? Is the CEO head person's job to like go check every single plane before they take off? Like,
no, it's not
you know
their job. Well, no, it's their job to make sure that the mechanics that they have, the pilots that they have, are competent.
Right.
And so, and if something does go wrong, in order to be assured that this will be preventable in the future, they're going to have to figure out what the problem was, or else how could you ever believe that they can fix it? If they can't identify what happened, what went wrong, then the only thing that you can be confident of is that they're crossing their fingers that doesn't happen again, because they don't know what it was.
I guess that's fair, yeah. Because I feel like that was one thing that everyone asked the director of the Secret Service, like, what went wrong? And she's just like, I don't know.
And that's the
like,
thing.
we messed up. And it's like, why? And then she's just like, we're still, like, there's an ongoing investigation, and we're looking into it.
But she couldn't even say an idea. She couldn't say anything about...
Yeah.
Well, even if, let's say, there was maybe 3 factors in her mind that may have contributed to it, like, she couldn't even give a general or vague. Meanwhile, everybody else who's been getting the facts as they've been slipping out and stuff like that, they probably have some ideas as to what went wrong. The fact that they didn't have somebody on the roof because it was slanted, that was a mistake. The fact that somebody saw the kid with a scope, rangefinder, and the fact that someone found him with saw him with a rangefinder, flagged it, and then lost track of him. Okay, that's a mistake. So as soon as someone found out that he had a rangefinder, someone should have had their eyes on him the whole time.
Yeah, and
The
I
fact
feel like
that somebody was up on the roof and they were like, oh, well, we don't know if it's a we can't shoot him because we don't know if he has a gun, we don't know if he just has a telescope or what. It's like, well, you should have gone to check. Why did you wait until he was shooting people to react?
Yeah.
I mean, if the crowd... I saw videos of people in the crowd pointing out the shooter before he shot, saying, he's on the roof, he has a gun, he's on the roof. And I don't know if at that point in time the Secret Service was working their way up to the roof in that exact moment. I don't know where the Secret Service was at that exact moment. But I think the fact that the crowd could identify a threat faster than the Secret Service could identify and cancel the threat. That speaks volumes about either their competence, or to be honest, it seems like maybe people just got a little bit lazy.
Yeah.
They didn't think that something was actually going to happen, so they treated it as if it was all just a formality rather than serious.
And I don't know, I feel like most problems are not like single point problems, you know what I mean? Especially when you're dealing with groups of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it was like one person did one thing and that's what caused this whole thing. I think it, like, there was probably a failure, like, not catastrophic failures, but I feel like there were like very small failures that built up to something
and she
bigger,
could
you know
have
what I mean?
pointed out something. She could have said, when they were like, oh, what went wrong? She could have said, to be honest, someone should have been on the roof. We didn't have any security on that roof. We should have had security on that roof. That was a mistake. She couldn't even say that.
Yeah.
If she had said even just something small like that, would have been like, okay, so she's admitting, because she kept saying, I take responsibility. On the one hand, she kept saying that she takes responsibility, but then on the other hand, she also heavily implied that it was not her fault, because she's like, I didn't make the security plans, I didn't do, I did. She said, I take full responsibility, while also saying, but I was very, very, very distant from this whole thing. I had nothing to do with it, but I do take responsibility.
I take full responsibility for something that I was not responsible for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, well, okay.
And so, yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't have to even throw someone under the bus, but she could have said, yeah.
Yeah, she could have given, like, a list of ideas and just said, well, it could be these things. And then just list it.
And literally, who does it hurt? She didn't give out names of people. And I don't think that she should have given out anyone's specific names in this congressional hearing that's publicly broadcasted, you know? I don't think that anyone deserves to get be on the end of the repercussions of people knowing, oh, you messed up, you know? But...
Except her, I guess.
She could have just said, as simple, we should have put security on that roof.
But then the obvious question would be,
if we had
why
put
didn't
security
you?
on that roof, then nothing would have happened. The kid never would have got up there with a gun.
Yeah.
If we had put security on that roof. Why didn't you? Well, because it was out of range or whatever. Because this is the thing, right? It was brought up. Okay, why was this roof outside of, I forget the term that they used, but outside the perimeter, basically, when the, like, a AR-15 or whatever it was can shoot longer than that, and that's the gun that's used most often in shootings. why would the perimeter not be at least that?
That's a
Radius.
That's a huge radius, though. Like, that's a huge radius.
So
I
that
think it was like 400. No, it wasn't 400 meters.
I thought it was like 150 feet.
I think that's how close he was, but I think it has a shooting range of like 400 to 500 or something, which is huge. It's like that's like that's a huge radius.
Anyways, I think that she could have identified that as a suggestion of something that would have been better, you know. Oh yeah, it would be better if we widened the radius.
Just sort of took it on the chin more and was just like, that is a good suggestion.
Yeah.
We should have done that. Hindsight 2020, obviously.
Don't be so defensive. Be like, yeah, good idea. That probably would have worked, you're right.
That probably... It's terrible.
But you know what I mean, though? It wouldn't be so annoying. Instead of showing up and being like, I don't know, it's an ongoing investigation, I don't know. I can't tell you anything, it's an ongoing investigation. Can't say anything, won't say anything.
I feel like
What
ever
went wrong?
since...
I don't know.
What was the movie? I think it was like the newest Jason Bourne movie or something.
I fell asleep.
I'm pretty sure it was that movie. But they're like, what happened here? Or maybe it was Avengers. I don't know. But all I know, it was Hawkeye, the guy who plays Hawkeye.
Okay.
And he's in some sort of congressional hearing.
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, and he's like, I can neither confirm nor deny the actions that took place, blah, 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 blah. And like, that was the only answer that he would give. And like, everyone was just like, all frustrated. But when you're watching the movie, you're just like, that's so awesome. But point being, I feel like people saw that movie and they're like, that's going to be me. And so they go to these congressional hearings and they're like, I can neither confirm nor deny. And it's not cool. It's just annoying. It's just like, listen, it was cool in the movie, but if you do it in real life, like, people don't actually like that. But anyway.
I think it's appropriate that she lost her job.
But moving past
or
that.
Or resigned her job. It was funny because she did say, yep, I take full responsibility. And then they say, do you think that you should lose your job? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
Well, why shouldn't you lose your job if you are taking full responsibility for what you called one of the most catastrophic failures in, you know, this century?
So, moving past that, though, something I was additionally shocked by was how polarizing the event was. And what I mean by that is, you would assume anyone, doesn't matter who they were, if anyone was like, if there was an attempt on anyone's life, you'd be like, yikes. You know, like, I feel like that should be your reaction. It should be like, yikes. Like, people are out there trying to kill people. Like, that's a lot. That's a lot. But it had almost the opposite reaction by half of the country, you know, where they're just like, oh, like, next time don't miss and all this stuff. And it's just like, dude, that is wild. Like, that is wild that you would say that, you know? Like, there was an attempt made on someone's life, and like, you're wishing that it was a success, and it's just like, that to me was very shocking to hear, not just normal people, but celebrities say like, what a shame. You know what I mean?
What celebrities did you hear say that?
Jack Black. It was,
Really?
he was on his Tenacious D tour.
Uh-huh.
It might have been the person that he was touring with. I don't know that guy's name.
Okay.
I just know Jack Black, but there's two of them. But like, there was a part of the show where like this robot or genie or something came out, and they're like, oh, like, make a wish, and he's just like, next time don't miss. And then everyone's like, oh, like, yikes. And then after that,
Jack Black said that, or the other guy?
one of the two, yeah. But the result after that was, I think they lost, like, their insurance company for the tour backed out. And they're like, no, dude, we're not going to cover you. And so they had to cancel the rest of their tour. And I believe they were in Australia. But like everyone was upset about it. They're like, dude, like, we get it. Everyone has their. You're allowed to have your own opinions and feelings about things, but like, time and a place, man. Time and a place. And especially you're a celebrity. Like, you're not supposed to be like.
You're setting an example for other people.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be condoning violence. Like, everyone was freaking out about the whole January 6th storming of the Capitol, and everyone was like, put Trump behind bars because he incited a riot that caused all this. And then on the other hand, they're like, someone tried to there was an attempt made on Trump's life. Bummer. Someone else should give it a shot and succeed. And it's just like, are you not doing the same thing? Like, are you not telling all of your fans to go kill someone? Like, that's wild to me.
Yeah, I feel like maybe people, when it comes to politics, people often dehumanize the opposing side, I think. So whenever they call for something bad to happen to them, it's like the reality of what that actually is almost doesn't register for them, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just hard because it's like, I mean, you go wherever you are aligned politically, you go too far in either direction, and you're gonna get a lot of crazy, I think. But
And the thing that
it's just, I don't know. It was too much for me. Like, the fact that people were saying stuff like that was too much for me.
Okay, so by virtue of the fact that we stay off social media, at least I stay off social media, I feel like I wasn't seeing a whole bunch of people say annoying things about how they wish that Trump had been killed.
I saw that on YouTube.
And I don't really like. I don't know. I guess I don't pay too much attention. A lot of the stuff that I tried to listen to regarding what happened was just, I guess, people talking about it in a professional setting, and they were keeping those kind of emotions out of it.
Yeah.
I do think that people saying that they wish he had been killed is just, I don't know, whatever. People can feel however they want to. I feel bad for Trump. I doubt that Trump cares, because for him it's probably, you know how people say that you're doing something right when people hate you? Because if you're doing nothing, then no one's going to care. But when you actually do something important, you're going to get a lot of people loving you and a lot of people hating you. So I would imagine that Trump actually would probably take it as a compliment that that people would say, oh, we wish he did die, you know. But I do think that that is not polite to say. What I thought was a bit outrageous, the most outrageous thing out of what I viewed and listened to, was Joe Biden not admitting immediately that it was an assassination attempt. And he was asked specifically by the press, I believe it was the following day, it might have been within 24 hours, it was either that day or the next day, was this an assassination attempt? And he said, we don't know. And it seems to me that if he was being serious, then he's really out of the loop.
Yeah.
Because it was pretty clear. I mean, he got shot in the ear.
Yeah.
I think if that had happened to Kamala Harris, even if he had an equal amount of information, he would have been like, oh yeah, someone tried to kill her.
Yeah.
But he didn't want to give Trump that. He didn't want to admit, yes, he did have this horrible thing just happen to him. He didn't want to give him the attention. And, you know, there were media outlets that were reporting it in a very disingenuous way, saying Trump fell to the floor after loud noises were heard at the thing. And I think that is pretty ridiculous, because the video was publicly available almost right away, it seems like to me. And if you watch the video, it's pretty obvious
what took place. Yeah.
Yeah, to say he fell over because there was a loud noise. Like, yeah, that's technically correct, I suppose. But you're really misrepresenting the information. And what I think is sad is if there's Americans who are going to be voting who walked away from that news cycle thinking, no, it wasn't a real assassination attempt. He just fell over. People were saying that it was an assassination attempt, and maybe some people dipped their toe into the news cycle for a minute and then are out and didn't know that it actually was a real thing that happened.
Yeah, and I don't know. I do have a slight issue just with how polarizing the news is, and I feel like there isn't really a news channel that gives. I think
True News by Russell Brand.
Well, like, I was just gonna say the correct news, but just unbiased, I feel like is a better way of putting it, where it's like, here's what we know, sort of things. You know what I mean? Where it's like, it's not like it's not like it's not like an opinion of like, we think this happened, but it's just like, here's what we know. These events took place. You know what I mean? Where it's very much just like, this is what we know, and then it's like, that's it.
You know, something that I did not look up, but that I would be interested to look up, would be a video of news coverage about the Trump assassination attempt from, like, the Young Turks or somebody like that. Or, you know, the late night talk show hosts are always covering news in their opening monologues. Like, did Stephen Colbert say anything about it? Did Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, did they talk about it? I would be interested to
I doubt it.
Look that up. I can't imagine that Stephen Colbert went on that night and didn't mention it. I don't know. Because what a thing to not mention. It's such a massive thing that happened.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like the same with Biden. There's a lot of people who just didn't want to give the attention to it. Like, same as Biden.
Oh, yeah. He definitely didn't want it to be a big, massive story. I mean, in my personal opinion, I think that that's why he ended up dropping out of the race, is because of the assassination attempt.
Because he thought he was going to be assassinated? What are you trying to say?
No, I think that he thought that there was no way he could beat Trump because Trump would get a sympathy vote. And so that's why I say he had to play the girl card. Bring out the girl! Because people will vote for a girl president just because we've never had a girl president. Even if they maybe aren't super familiar with what her actual ideas or policies or values are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who just want to see a female president.
Yeah.
Just because it's a novelty.
Wow.
You know?
Just because it's a novelty.
Yeah, I mean, it's
It's
never
quite
happened
insane.
before.
I want a female president because
Something different.
I've never seen that before. It's like, well, if men and women are equal, then why does it matter? Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today.
But I
It's
do
not
think
what-
that I think that that's the strategy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Joe Biden already, maybe didn't have the most support, and then
This is gonna sound pretty.
for Trump to be almost assassinated, I think it just probably raised his likability. So they had to do something to compensate.
This is gonna sound like I don't know what's going on at all, but do we know? Did Kamala Harris
Take her.
get like the Democratic nomination or whatever she needed? I know she was like saying like I'm going for it, and Joe Biden like verbally or in writing gave his support of her.
Yes.
But like, is she like legit? This
Yeah.
is the one. She's on the ticket.
Yeah, she is.
Gotcha.
And she picked her VP too. It's a guy.
Yeah, I've been seeing. I know this also is not on the topic tonight, but
Kamala Harris and that.
I think
I hope that you will give me your money today, not tomorrow. Give me your $5, $10. I need your money. Give me your money right now, Kamala Harris.
I think it's hilarious that how much. It's gonna sound pretty bad, I guess, but I feel like there's a definite slant that party rides, and it is not often in favor of a straight white male, but that's who the VP is. I'm just like, what?
He's a straight white male?
Well,
Do you know that he's straight?
I do not know that he's straight, but he's an
That
old white.
would be a novelty. Get a gay VP and a girl all in one. Maybe if one of them ends up in a wheelchair too.
Well, okay, but
Or Kamala Harris could come out as a lesbian. and then everyone would have to vote for her. Wow, we're gonna have our first gay president, our first disabled president, our first female president.
I mean, yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Don't you think though? Like for example,
Why?
if someone gay was running for office, don't you think they'd have an advantage?
question
Just be, I'm gonna be the
is
first gay president.
Why didn't Kamala Harris ask the other lady who ran for president? Her name's
Hillary?
escaping me. Yes, Hillary.
Hillary.
Like, why didn't Kamala go to Hillary Clinton and say, "Be my VP"?
Well, Hillary lost.
I know Hillary
People
lost.
don't like Hillary.
I know Hillary lost, but like, she's got the name, right?
Do you know who's kind of sort of friends with Hillary Clinton?
I don't know, Taylor Swift, who I have no idea.
The Irwins.
The Irwins?
Yeah. They were like talking about that. They did something with the Clintons, and I was like, oh no, not you two. Jeez Louise.
Interesting.
Please, no.
But, like, seriously though, I know that might be a weird thing to say,
Seriously, why didn't she go to...
but why
Hillary
didn't she go to
Clinton?
Hillary Clinton to say, "Be my VP"? Maybe she did, and Hillary was like, "No, it's president
I doubt
or
it.
nothing."
I doubt it, to be honest.
But I feel like that would have been an interesting
It
go
would have
at
been interesting, but I think they probably would have lost.
Because I feel like there was a lot of people who, I mean, I know she didn't win, but there was a lot of people who were like Team Hillary when she was running. And so if she was the VP, I feel like Kamala would have gotten a lot of support.
She would get a lot of support from Democrats, but Democrats are going to vote for her anyways. What they need is like the swing vote, the people who are on the fence. And anybody who's on the fence about voting Democratic in the first place, I don't think that Hillary Clinton is going to make them more inclined to
Dang.
vote that way.
That is actually very true. Maybe you should go work in some sort of campaign. Because that is a good point. I did not think about that. Okay, well, anyway, that is all I really had. I thought the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Assassination.
I thought the assassination attempt on Donald Trump was
Which we
wild.
don't really know whether or not that's what it was, because
You're right.
there's an ongoing investigation.
It's an ongoing investigation.
All
we're
we
not
really
sure.
know is that he fell over because there was a loud noise, and Secret Service is doing an ongoing investigation.
The
about that.
FBI is doing an investigation.
Both.
Anyway,
There's multiple ongoing investigations.
yeah.
And a
But
woman got fired because Trump fell down.
there's your new headline: woman loses job because Trump fell over.
Trump does not support female CEOs. apparently.
Directors. But okay.
He
Goodness
doesn't want a
gracious.
woman in charge. He wouldn't let Hillary Clinton be in charge. Now he won't let that lady be in charge of the Secret Service. He's a sexist. Misogynist.
Okay. Anyway, that is all I have. I thought it was wild.
Same, I'm ready to go watch TV.
I thought it was wild. I thought it was just. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just crazy that we're still in a day and age where this stuff happens. But anyway.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, for us, this was the first time in our lifetime that a president. Because the most recent time before this was Richard Nixon. Actually, that was in the. Was that in the 90s?
I don't know enough history about
We would've-
attempts.
Okay, let me see. When did Richard Nixon? I know that was the last time. Okay, when was the Richard?
But didn't one of Kennedy's brothers also get shot at? Anyway,
Yeah, 1972.
that was Nixon.
Yeah, Nixon. So it's the first time in our lifetime.
Was Nixon? Never mind. We're not.
Kennedy was in the 60s.
We're not going down it. Right on. Until next time. Stay safe out there.
Always put security, even if there's a slanted roof.
Okay, bye.